Hello, my name is Tae-Jun. I'm a professor of Oriental Language Department of Gachun University. My topic is the education thoughts of Deng literature from the perspective of New Humanism. In 1956, Chinese President Mao Zedong announced the so-called Double Hundred Policy. The purpose of this policy is to remove all restrictions on literary and artistic creation and academic research in the past, and to guarantee the freedom of speech and the learning of writers and scholars. But in 1957, the Communist Party of China regarded writers and scholars who freely expressed their opinions and carried out creative activities freely as enemies of the people and began to suppress them. However, Deng, secretary of the Beijing Municipal Committee, did not flinch in this gloomy social atmosphere and published a variety of essays according to his own objectivity. Yanshan Night Code is a collection of 153 essays published by Deng under the pseudonym Nan-Cun. From March 1961 to September 1962, he published his essays in the essay column of U.S.2, a supplement of Beijing Evening News. Deng was admitted to the Department of Politics and Law of Shanghai Guanghua University in 1929 and the Department of Economics of Henan University in 1934. In 1937, he compiled the history of China's famine relief and published the anti-enemy newspaper during the anti-Japanese War in 1938. He was chief editor of People's Daily in 1949. In 1958, he served as secretary of the Secretariat of Beijing Municipal Party Committee and editor of Frontline magazine. The themes of Yansan Night Talk include astronomy, geography, politics, philosophy, art, education, etc. It's as colorful as an encyclopedia because as a scholar, historian, journalist, and politician, Deng formed erudite knowledge in his rich life experience. We could compare Deng's literature with Irving Babbitt's New-Humanism. During the social transformation period dominated by the New Culture movement in China in the 1920s, several Chinese New Humanist scholars dreamed of reviving the tradition and revitalizing the scholarship. This paper aims to observe the characteristics of Dong's essays and understand the educational characteristics of New Humanism in his literature. The purpose of Dong's Yansan Night Talk is to advocate reading, enrich knowledge, broaden horizons, and revitalize the spirit. Dong observed that in order to overcome the bleak reality of material shortage caused by industrial depression and agricultural failure and the economic collapse of grassroots people, the media should play a leading role in expanding the public's vision. He believed that only when people read more newspapers and books and improve their knowledge, they could maintain a healthy mental state and overcome difficulties. At that time, Dong's rich knowledge and profound thoughts in Yanshan Night Talk were enough to be welcomed by readers who were eager to overcome the problems of material and spiritual collapse. Most articles in Yanshan Night Talk quoted ancient Chinese literary works and classics. In this regard, we could see that Dong's will to protect and develop traditional culture was very strong. The contribution of the collectors, an article in Yansan Night Talk, tells about the destruction of many documents and classics by Emperor Qin Shi Huang and Xiang Yu. Nevertheless, a lot of ancient books and records were excavated on the words of Confucius' old residents. In this article, Dong discussed in detail the positive influences of collectors on traditional culture and academic undertakings, and emphasized that the contributions of folk collectors should not be underestimated. Moreover, Dong kindly put forward suggestions for the future of youth. In his article, no matter in which field the sage comes out, he tried to comfort those young people who are uh, worried about the opaque future after graduation. Dong firmly believed that anyone could achieve outstanding achievements in any field as long as he had a clear sense of purpose and indomitable will, and combined the needs of the people with them. No matter what occupation or field there will be sages who are proficient in witness functions and knowledge, he said explicitly. Dongpo's Yansan Night Talk decisively criticized the politics reality. He said in the article, correct understanding of criticism, whether it is ideological criticism or academic criticism, the purpose of criticism is not to attack the other party or to deny everything, but to abandon the bad things, strive for the good things, discard the lies and leave the real things. It aims to better inherit the heritage, develop culture and the socialist cause. Dongpo's views may be a circuitous criticism against Mao Zedong. That is to say, after the speech at the Yan'an Literature and Art Forum, literature and art could only explore the great heroic deeds and souls of workers, citizens, and soldiers. If anyone criticized the defects of these extreme left literature, they were immediately regarded as righteous and suppressed. Dongpo was indignant at its phenomenon. In addition, he also pointed out that the socialism advocated by the Communist Party of China was not a real socialism. New-Humanism has been prevailing in the United States for a period of time since the beginning of the 20th century. It was led by Irving Babbitt, an American critic and a professor of Harvard University. Babbitt pointed out that Francis Bacon's scientism led the wrong desire of human beings to achieve infinite progress through the development of science. He also pointed out that Jean-Jacques Rousseau's humanitarianism constantly expanded humans' animal attributes, which led a society into the abyss of intemperance, chaos, and materialism. He believed that the horrible disasters in human history, such as the First World War, and the problems existing in human society, such as disease, poverty, various crimes, and environmental damages, all originated from the moral degradation caused by scientism and humanitarianism. Therefore, he believed that in order to save human beings from moral degeneration and lead the world to the ideal direction, it was necessary to cultivate perfect gentlemen through moral education and training. In other words, through the continuous application of the moral laws and the training of restraining desire, one can overcome the law of sin that dominates the world and establish the law of man. In order to establish the law of man, David believed that it was very important to study the thoughts of the ancient sages in the East and the West and practice their lives. Therefore, from David's point of view, the classics, which recorded the sufferings and understandings of the sages and their life deeds, are the treasures of mankind, containing thousands of years of experience and wisdom, and also the great textbooks which are indispensable to the cultivation of gentlemen who could practice the golden mean. Just as David believed that the world could be saved only through the moral education of gentlemen who inherited the ideas of ancient sages, Deng attached more importance to the knowledge and the wisdom of the elites than to the power of the masses. Also, from the present point of view, Donghuo's words in Yansan Night Talk are very common, just like all kinds of books and newspapers at home and abroad, based on the achievements of predecessors. However, considering that the red flag of communism covered the whole country at that time, unreasonable demagogues forced people to break away from the past and to destroy traditions with vulgar slogans. We could infer that if Dongpo had no unyielding faith and strong will, he would not have said such ordinary words. Dongpo did not have the theoretical system brought by rigorous academic research. However, his essay creation was not a kind of leisure activity, but a lofty educational activity triggered by an urgent idea. He was looking forward to the emergence of talents who could play a vanguard role and bring a bright future to free China. No matter in which field the sage comes out, was the goal and hope of his literary activities. It is difficult to say that Deng Huo, like the scholars of New-Humanism, had insight into the advanced academic research trend and had rich research results. However, in terms of transforming the world, he believed that a more reasonable and stable way was to gradually improve people's level by enhancing knowledge by research and respecting tradition. On this point, his thoughts are similar to New-Humanism. Thank you.